Thanks for joining me again. I'm going to show you how we do our Dejeric table. Dejeric? Holochess. I'm opening up Photoshop in the background for this one. Import my footage, which came in as 640 by 480. So I'm going to pop back into Premiere and re-export that clip. HD. Just going to overwrite the old one. While that happens in the background, I'm going to open up this great picture that I found of all of the Dejeric characters, which looks like it'll be pretty useful for my purposes on this one. I'm going to go ahead and do a color range selection, delete the white, and just kind of use that to roughly pop out all of these characters. Control-Shift-J cuts them out from their original layer and makes a new version of them, which is great. Just gonna grab just the feet of this guy. There we go. That should be enough for my purposes. We'll save it as the Dejeric figures, and then we'll gotta get that HD footage in there. What? Okay, here we are, HD. Run my camera tracker on it. It's actually a nice high contrasty grid, so you'd think this would work perfectly. Or that After Effects would freeze. Okay. I love R2 just hanging out on the side, just chilling. This whole event was really cool, by the way. Mickey Capoferi from Lucasfilm invited us to come down, which was really cool, and we got to do a little interview and stuff. You can find that online somewhere. If you look up Action Movie Kit at Star Wars Celebration, I think. Okay. Set our origin point, and now I'm going to import that Photoshop file. Now, whenever you import a Photoshop file, it's really important, let me show you, that you select Composition, Retain Layer Sizes. It just crops all of the layers to their actual size, as you can see, which is really nice. I'm going to apply kind of a static-y look to all of these, so I'm going to try creating a composition where, I'm going to matte choke this a little bit. I'm going to try to create a composition where I can overlay some static patterns and some kind of flicker and junk like that. But there's so many figures and I don't have a ton of time, so I'm going to import some of these stock static pieces and try to create a pre-comp that basically will take in any of these other figures. I'm shopping a few of these different staticky, glitchy things. You know what? These are kind of short. So I'm going to interpolate them to loop. There we go. And now as I play that, you see it just adds this flicker glitchiness to them. It's not exactly what I want. I might shop some of the others. No. I'm going to go to our old friend Riot Gear, which I believe came with some TV noise. There we go. Classic static. Alright, so I set the track matte on both of those so it's overlaying just on top of the figures, and you'll see it keeps their color but gives them a little bit of a flicker here. Now to save myself some time, I'm going to duplicate this comp, looks like 9 times, for each of these figures. I'm going to go into each comp and hold down Alt and drag in these other Photoshop layers to replace the Photoshop layer. So I'm clicking on the layer, holding down Alt, and replacing it with another piece of footage, you can see. And that way I now have 9 comps that all have these figures and the static already overlaid on them, which is kind of nice. So yeah, if you go through any of these, you can see static plays right through them, which is nice. I'm going to import these, make them 3D. I'm going to angle them a little bit better and adjust their anchor points so their feet are like closer to the ground. And now, assuming I'm slightly aligned with this chess table, all I need to do to move them around is grab their little widget, I can't remember what they're called, on their axes and move them around to different spots on the table. There are probably people who know how to really play Dejarik who are screaming at their screen right now. I'm favoring the black pieces a lot because they show up better in front of the black pieces. Now right now you'll see that the camera reveals that they become flat by this side. So I'm just going to set one key on the orientation for all of them and have them face the camera that way. You can also go to some settings where you have 3D layers face the camera, but I've run into weird problems with that before. To make these guys a little bit more opaque, I'm duplicating them and changing their blending mode from add to normal, but I'm going to try to give these guys a better look here. Try toning them a little bit hologram blue. And you'll see as that mixes in, you start to get a little bit more of that Star Wars hologram feel. I'm going to blur them out a little bit so it's kind of a blue glow. And this is kind of a sloppy way to work, but I'm actually going to make a whole duplicate of this 3D scene where I'm just grabbing these 3D figures all as one, soloing them. So basically, I can now bring them in as one layer and do an effect on top of them all because I feel like I'm going to have to copy and paste too many things. So if I add a brightness and contrast to this layer, which is actually all of my characters kind of moving in that same 3D space, I can adjust them all at once. I'm screwed if I decide to like move a character a little bit, but it is like 6:45 and I'm gonna try to just be busting through this anyway. I'm gonna try doing this duplicate of them all and offsetting them to create kind of this holographic chromatic aberration. There's some really cool plugins that do this as well, but I'm just going to do this manually right now. So I've tinted one whole copy of them red, blurred that a little bit, and offset it to the side, and that gives you a little bit of this glitchy look. So we're looking pretty good. I'm going to import some of that TV noise and just create a 3D layer out of it, and create kind of a static-y field all around this playing board, just to give the table a little bit of glowing life. Just a teeny bit. That feels like the whole board kind of glows or something like that, maybe. Close. What this is really probably simulating is the way they superimposed these elements on film. In the original movie, there was actually probably real grain coming through from the multiple exposures of the Dejarik figures onto the board. Now, the Millennium Falcon is in full effect for The Force Awakens, and I heard they got Phil Tippett to reanimate some Dejarik figures in actual stop motion for The Force Awakens, so I have to see if that's true. Then, alright, time to render out this puppy, and after that, on to the next. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me like a year late for all of these videos. Sorry they're not very timely, but there's a whole bunch of them here if you want to click on any of them. So have a good day. May the Force be with you.